underground at my house.
They can't blasting off.
They can't hear them. They can revving up to take off.
This is a kid in Tulsa, 71st and Lewis, but you could hear, on a quiet night, you could hear the races going on at the fairgrounds.
Drag racing. They shake. I mean, it sounds like a small when they go off.
This was the round track.
Oh, you could? Wow.
Go around the ground track.
Okay, well, I worked at Sears during that period of time.
I remember one
On Friday night, was it Saturday nights or Friday
Saturday
nights?
nights, Saturday nights.
And it just shake the building. Across the street, you know.
Okay. We're live.
We up?
We're up.
Are we recording?
So tell you if there's anybody watching.
It will.
Maybe.
We are recording.
I call to order the regular business meeting of the Limestone Fire Protection District, May the 17th, 2020. Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Edward Bell.
I am here.
Chris Lewis.
Present.
Rick Phelps is here. Bud Averill.
Here.
Imogene Smith. Absent without excuse. Non-board members present are Captain Don Boyle and the chief.
Yes, you're
And
just a
Chief Long.
non-entity or something.
Which brings us to a new portion of our agenda. We're going to start today with approving by consent, which means not going through the whole report. Those reports which have already been transmitted in a timely fashion, which is 24 hours in advance of the meeting. So along those lines, the three reports that have been provided prior are, and we will approve these in order as we get to them, but today, in the future, we'll approve them all at once. But starting today, the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the last meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any corrections or additions? I have one guest present. I would like Don Boyle added to last month's meeting. Any other? I make a motion that we adopt it by consent.
That's so second.
Roll call.
Everyone.
Lewis, aye.
Phelps, aye.
And I.
Then, as normal, moving to the next agenda item, which is the treasurer's report. Mr. Bell, you have the floor.
Financial report was provided to everyone prior to this meeting. I don't know if anybody had any questions on the report as provided.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No questions for me.
I make a motion that we approve it by consent.
Second.
Phelps, aye.
Everyone.
And I.
Lewis, aye.
Chief's report. Anybody have any questions? There being none, I make a motion we accept it by consent.
Second.
Phelps, aye.
Everyone.
And I.
Lewis, aye.
Training report. Training report.
There is no training report this time.
Okay, moving to facilities report, that's been provided. Anybody have any questions? There being none, I move that by consent we accept the facilities report.
So second.
Everyone.
Phelps, aye.
Lewis, aye.
And I.
Moving to agenda items. Discussion and possible action regarding the renewal of district property and casualty insurance policies. B, sir.
Yes, in your packet, I put together a summary of what our renewal is. But I don't remember if you were part of this when you came on, if you saw this last year. We only really have one source, we only have one source of insurance that covers volunteer fire departments. There's another company we looked at a few years ago, and this just, we're a tough entity to insure. And so VFIS has been very, very good to us. I will say, it did concern me that we got a 14% rate increase this year. It is primarily because of the claims we've had on Station 2 and here with water damage. I did a pretty detailed documentation of what work we've done to mitigate those. According to Burroughs, who's our agent on this, that helped keep our increase from being higher. But it's still, they've had some big losses, on those policies for a number of years. So,
does this also include any increase because of additional vehicles with higher values?
That was my next point, was part of this also is more new vehicles, a newer fleet, more expensive vehicles. So, so you can see that, the biggest increase there is in auto, 16% increase, and that's going to be driven by the replacement cost of our vehicles. A property was 14, almost 15%, but auto was a big driver in that. So this does not include the new engine that will be here. I don't know if this even included the new rescues because of the time they gave the quote, but it
And
did.
we did pay additional premium prior to.
Through the end of the year.
Yeah.
But in the same note, we're dropping off equipment at the same
Exactly.
time, which should, in portion,
Drop.
yeah.
Exactly. So we're only going to be, the increase will only be the increase in value of the vehicles that
The new ones,
the new ones. So it's,
they're coming online as
right.
we speak.
And it's just, they started this renewal process in February when I was given them information. So they have to just pick a date to when they're going to offer the quote, and then we make adjustments to the new vehicles that come in after that. So, but this, the coverage that we get on these policies has always been very good. We rarely get any pushback. So
I was gonna say, this is probably the biggest increase we've had in a while also.
Yeah, I can't ever remember. But you're right, we've had a lot of claims.
Yeah.
Far in excess of what the annual increase is.
but you can see that just the increase in auto
Yeah.
is $5,000, which is over 10% of our total premium is the increase there. So it really is not that bad when you're looking at what we're actually insuring. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the VFIS renewal for policy year 2020-2021 at proposed premium of $53,505.
Second.
Vote. Phelps, aye.
Haverhill,
Lewis, aye.
Next item. Discussion and possible action regarding employee health insurance.
Okay, next one is on community care. This actually comes up for renewal July 1. I have not heard any complaints about our plan. I think it's a very rich plan. It's good for the employees. I know I'm actually the broker on 2 other community care groups that got increases higher than this. Because of the size of the group, it's not based on, this group's losses. It's a community rated type deal. So it's based off of the age of the employees.
You think they would have dropped too because of her age? Eric's probably the oldest. Huh?
But I thought,
Oh. Never mind.
So,
not anymore.
Okay.
So how's that work? Do we pay a portion and they pay a portion?
No,
We pay it all?
we pay 100%.
We pay 100% for the employee. The employee then, if they have children or spouse, or children and spouse, they pay for that portion. So basically, all we're out is whatever
The employee.
an employee times 7. And that's a monthly rate, isn't it?
Correct. So, it's one of the groups had a 12.5% and the other one had it was almost 15. So, I think a switch, I will tell you this, that I've had another group that worked with Blue Cross that would be another competitive bid, but the headaches that come with working with Blue Cross are significant. I don't know anybody, it's anecdotal, but it's,
This is the new rate.
The
the
554.33.
554.33 is the employee rate for the new.
Right,
Right now, we're paying 501.66.
right. This is per month.
Going forward, we will pay 554.33.
And if they have children down here at the last one,
They would
1557,
pay 1557.
That's for
and we still.
Well, they would pay 1557 minus the 554.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're paying 1,000,
Yeah.
we're paying their 554.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'll be glad to send them back out for other bids, but again, I think it's something that's worked well. I think it's a reasonable,
What was can you recall what our increase was last year?
probably looked at it.
Probably comparable, or a little less.
Remember?
I think ours at the city went up 11% this year. For the city.
Yes, I can tell you. Last year was an 8.5.
All right, any other discussion?
No. I'll make the motion. We continue with the community care HMO Plan 11 for with the renewal rates as provided.
Second,
Phelps, aye.
And
Lewis, aye. And just to make it clear, I am not the broker on this. Just for those, I am a broker, but I am not the broker for community care, for Limestone.
Item 3.
Dental insurance, everybody gets an increase this year.
15%.
15%, and this is the exact same increase that the 2 other groups that I do have got.
And what is that attributed to?
Increase in, with what Delta Dental has told me is an increase in overall utilization
Across the field or
Across.
just our people?
across the field, everybody.
So we're helping pay for
We're helping pay for everybody, and
Everybody.
everybody else helping pay for us.
Okay.
And all 7 employees have it right now.
Yes.
And so employee only, renewal
Mhm.
monthly rate is $46. Am I reading that correctly?
That's correct.
And we pay that.
And it does include, and I know that at least one of the employees in the past has used this, it does also include some like discounts with eyeglasses and things like that. So there are some other benefits to the employees that they've used.
And if they put their spouse and children on there, then they pay the rest. Is that
Mhm.
also correct?
Mhm.
Just like the regular insurance?
That's
Yep.
correct.
Okay.
And payroll handles all that for us. I just-
Any other discussion about that? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we renew for the next fiscal year with Delta Dental, with the current plan we have, with the current 15% increase.
Second,
Favor line.
Phelps, aye.
Yeah,
Lewis on.
You need me to sign it? Are you gonna sign something? What? I don't have,
I don't know if they sent us anything. I don't think we actually have to sign on them. I think it just did
just
automatic.
start sending them the premium and they're happy.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Okay. Discussion and possible action regarding the approval for the presentation of the proposed 2021 fiscal year budget.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bell.
All right. Sent out to all board members and officers the proposed budget for fiscal year 2021. We have to, I have to at least adopt the proposed one this month as far as the state statute. I did send out a kind of a brief overview letter with this, indicating somewhere some of our increases have been with this, this particular budget. One notable, of course, is, where I'm projecting the levies for, which is the majority of our income or revenue, be 15% roughly, so that our levies will be 1.5 million as part of our income. We also do get income from grants, donations and reimbursements, refunds, and of course insurance if there's any insurance claims.
On the levies,
Mm-hmm.
you have an increase, I would call substantially looking increase. Is that due to more housing?
It's due to more housing, but how I do it so that we're not overestimating is I always estimate it based on previous amount we've taken in and things like that over the calendar year. Our fiscal year goes from July 1 to
Right.
June, but I also estimate what we get our levies is based on yearly. So I kind of have to calculate all that to get roughly how much we're gonna get and not be overestimating on that. I've always done it, kind of based on previous years and also looking at trending. We've been consistently about 12, 15%. We should see a bigger bump probably in the next calendar year with the addition of Boulder Ridge. They're right across the street from 193rd from Stone Canyon. There's some other housing that's going to be going up, probably another year or two after that. We should see some more increase there north of 72nd Street, 193rd.
So this, what do you think, I mean, this is of May, did that include May's any payment, any levies from
I'm
that?
not real, I don't count this calendar year, I count last calendar years. So that we're not overestimating,
Building a degree of safety into.
building a degree of safety.
I'm looking at like the estimated for 2019, 2020.
Mhm.
We estimated
Yeah, but based on
1.26, but
all
we're
these-
actually higher than that.
If you look at page 3,
Okay.
where the assessed value
I got you.
is the 1.7, but, you know, that's based on 2019 levies, which is basically last calendar year's levies.
So this is what we actually we should take in 2019.
Close to, yeah.
Okay. So it's really not,
Calendar year, not fiscal year. This is like,
Okay.
a little different. That's the only bad thing. And I really hate to change, the state statute has changed it where you could go calendar year to calendar year, but I certainly don't want to be closing the fiscal year at the end of December.
right, I understand.
No, thank you. I'd rather be doing it in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
So
So
that's why we're not estimating to 1.7, and we're estimating close to, but not. And there's some fluff in this, of course, with, you know, some things like miscellaneous capital equipment. It's basically the other is basically whatever is left over to make it a zero budget.
Okay.
Zero balance budget, so there's like.
But I was kind of with April though, if we were looking at actually getting this year 1.26,
Mhm.
and we're saying, okay, next year we're gonna get 1.51.
Right, and this is
$2.5 million,
But also
or
that's-
250,000 more.
That's based on the numbers from April 30th, the estimated. That's why there's a star there. So far, we've gotten another 47,000 on top of that already.
Okay. So that puts us up to 1.3,
Mhm.
and then do something for June. Okay. Put this closer to a 10% increase.
We'll just have to keep watching that because eventually they're gonna slow down the building, but.
But also your assessed values always are consistently
you know,
going
they-
up, which is,
You never know what they're gonna do. They could level off.
And-
change.
I think the biggest concern, the thing we have to watch for this year is the collectability of it. If, you know,
yeah, that's true.
you know, if you got a lot of people in the district that have lost their jobs and,
But the good thing about it is it's not really the tax time of year, people are paying depends how they're paying it, if they're making a payment, it's coming out of their escrow, so.
right, but if they're not, if they've lost their job, they're not making their house payment, then house payment's not making their,
I agree.
For this part of the year.
And to,
We need to-
We need to really keep an eye
Yeah.
on that.
and also, in the past, we've been kind of rolling X amount of dollars from our general fund to the capital fund. Usually it's like the previous 2018-19 year, it's about $600,000.
Right.
So there's leftover money each fiscal year. To basically. Sorry.
Thank you.
Let's see, what else? Our operating expenses overall, the 6% increase, a lot of it had to do with employee salaries, so they didn't now with moving to the pension and the volunteer stipends. And the medical supplies have increased quite a bit. Those are the chunks of areas in our operating expenses that increased a lot.
Well, this says personal services. The amount went up by substantially.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, is that personal services.
That's quite a large jump.
$300,000.
Well, salaries, taxes, includes Increasing, adding a sixth person, adding, the chief's salary.
Pension,
Pension itself,
Budget is a whole other different line.
it's a separate line,
okay,
but also the stipends.
Well, the insurances, the insurance here is personal, is that personal also, or is that item 50, line item 53,000? Is that just building insurance, or is that people insurance?
No, that's everything.
Okay, so.
If you actually go to page, starting at page 6, you'll see the breakout.
So 51,000, then is salaries and stipends.
Salary, stipends, and travel. If you go to page 6, you'll actually see the breakout of everything that's happening.
It's kind of odd, but travel under personal services. Should have its own category.
And I will say that the salaries were probably significantly less than budget because we had too many open positions throughout the course of last fiscal year.
At least the last 2 years.
For a while.
Yeah.
So we,
We've had 3.
so the,
I agree.
it's artificially, the current year is artificially low because of opening.
And starting new employees back up at the base rates, base starting rate. We've got 3 employees that are, four that are at the base starting rate, so. And our second highest page is over here.
So what you have in there is their rates plus possible, COLA.
Yes, COLA, merit, their longevity, a bonus.
Which a new employee probably wouldn't have.
Not the first year.
Yeah, not first year, but true, but, well, definitely not merit. The only people would probably get merit this year, there's only 2 employees that get merit this year.
See what else. That was a big, personal training went way up, of course.
We had some additional funding, by request, Deputy Chief Good, for in case we have some more outside training come in, pay for that. Like I said, it's put in there, but I mean, if it doesn't happen, that's just extra.
What do you use miscellaneous for?
You always have a miscellaneous, a lot of that, there's, over the years of as we improve doing the budget, and getting things more categorized, the only thing really that falls under that is usually, the awards bank we have every year usually falls under that.
Since I would assume you using that as a catch-all for things that didn't
Fit somewhere,
fall.
but
fall
most
into
of the time,
something
things fit somewhere,
else.
almost
Or
99%
if
of the
you
time.
underestimated and you got moved your money from miscellaneous into it.
Right, yeah, there's
So
some,
normally when I was doing budgets in the old days, for power plant, and even for construction jobs, miscellaneous was usually, between 1% and 10% of total.
yeah, this one's probably not.
And 10,000 seems kind of light for that, to me. So if this actual is actual 18 to 19, and the estimated for 19 to 20 is close, and I guess 10 is fine.
Yeah. Probably
I just feel a little uncomfortable with 10 in there. We can live with it because of what we've been doing. I was making it up at be closer to 20. Just because of what over the years, what I've found. But with the track record of under 10, I guess it's fine to leave it at 10. The only other item you said you had was supplies went up.
Yeah, supplies went up, especially, we're looking at adding some intermediate protocols in the coming year, which will increase some of our supplies. We're doing a lot better job of tracking our supplies for medical, but all at the same time, because supplies do go out or expire, we're having to purchase more. Your glucoses, your what else? Narcan.
Pretty much anything EMS is going to.
Narcan's not cheap, is it?
Before was mandated.
Much Narcan nowadays.
Expires.
$140 for one thing in Narcan, so we buy, multiples for each of our packs, so.
When we do calls for support calls for other entities, do we get reimbursed for that, all that?
The only thing we actually do, anything billable would be is if it was and we don't do it very often, would be is if it was a car wreck, a significant car wreck, and if that person did not live in the district. Because people pay taxes, we shouldn't be then billing them for the same service that we're providing. They're providing tax money to us. So,
But to answer your question, it's not a practice that we have ever.
Yeah, we don't bill their insurance. We don't bill their insurance or anything like that.
So
The only time we
we
bill.
just do it as a courtesy,
Right.
and if we need help, they're expected to provide it.
That's correct.
Yeah. Like I said, the only time anybody ever gets billed is somebody that does not live in the district.
And I think I've always thought we should be billing for areas like, was it Ridgeview? That are in the district but not tax paying.
Yeah, and there is mechanisms that we could employ through the
Who's
water
in this
district.
view that isn't paying taxes?
Anything south of 66th Street.
At Ridgeview.
So Ridgeview, Patriot, hold on down that way.
But as far as the EMS supplies, I mean, if we're using the same stuff as the ambulance we're running with, we can get, like, if we use AED pads and they've got the same pads, we can get a set of pads from them, but
And then they bill.
then they bill for it, because they've got a billing mechanism. That's the way it works at Sand Springs. Anything we use medically, we go get it off the ambulance and fill our pack, and they bill for it.
That's the way it also works.
But the problem is we run with 3 different ambulance services, and the chance of them all 3 using the same stuff that we're using is slim. That's part of the reason we bought the Zoll monitors, is because that's what Pafford and Owasso are using, so the chances of having the same pads and things like that, accessories, is pretty good.
Okay.
But Collinsville, I don't think they're using Zoll. I don't know what they're using. We don't run much with them anymore, because Owasso's taking most of their stuff. So.
Any other questions, Bud?
Let's see, personal training course goes up, they've got more employees. Advertising, what happened there?
We haven't done a lot of advertising, but part of that advertising is, of course, purchase of any public education materials, things like that. That's all falls under advertising. Advertising for the newspaper, buying those signs we did for the advertising for
Okay.
firefighters, all that kind of falls into that category for that item. And
Where did we put the new electric signs? Under what category?
that would be capital. So that's in the budget.
3 of them in there, I just looked.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't got that far.
This first place on.
Yeah, it's.
I just had one question.
No, I don't have any other questions with what's there, it's just, the internal distribution of some of the stuff looks a little weird, but, we're talking about some dollars in a particular category. And they look fine. This is our operating expenses, not our capital expenses.
Well, and there's some capital purchases that are done out of the general fund, but it's up to a certain dollar amount roughly. After that, if it's pretty large, like, those old monitors we're gonna get ready to purchase next fiscal year, we put 2 in the budget, that'll come actually out of the capital fund instead of the general fund. Get those items.
The only thing I saw, I had a question on was the station signs. Station 1 and 3 have the same amount, station 2 is a different amount. All three together, it totals over what I had in there, so.
What page on?
Page 14, 15.
Okay.
Page 14, station 1's at the bottom, then station 2, the station sign. But like I said, all three of them together are still above what I actually had in there, so it's not that big a deal, but.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a typo or if you
Probably,
had something else running across your head there.
probably should have looked like.
That was the only thing I saw. Everything else was good.
Yeah, sure why. Oh, I think at the time too, I think I put more in because I was kind of doing like, or my thought was, instead of being on, since the other 2 are on poles, it's really just a matter of.
2 are on hold, but that's not, that one is.
Right, this one, it would be a nicer kind of base, so you're gonna have some brickwork and,
Station 1 and 3 are the same price too as the off.
Oh.
That's all that. Like I said, it's still between the 3.
Okay.
And I just emailed that lady the other day. I told her to give me a package price on it. Because she said they can do installation too, so it don't be turnkey.
Right. Is that just the digital sign, or just digital sign and the vinyl?
Both.
Okay.
So we can change from one location.
Like I said, we're running into capital improvements.
Yeah, we're,
Capital outlays, I guess.
right, we were just, basically looking through what was basically the capital requests for both the general fund and capital fund. Which it basically starts at page 13.
And as far as the hydrants, so they're not, I don't do it anymore until they get the ones they've got put back in the ground. They pull 3 or 4 of them because of leaks. So, until they put them back in the ground.
And face the right direction.
Yes.
What's this on page 5? Revenue capital layout.
Page 5.
Yeah. What is that? We didn't talk about it.
Oh. Yeah, so page 5 basically is the summary of basically the general fund. So basically I have a summary page, so basically some of those items are collapsed, and then a little more detailed,
Okay.
starting at page 6 to page 9. That is number. And then page 10 is the actual capital fund itself. It's outlays.
So capital layout equipment, I guess it's for the payment for the new vehicle.
Correct. So if there's
Debt service is the payment to to the loan company.
exactly.
So then you said the capital expenditures was on page 15, the 14.
Starting at 13, which is basically the list of all the products, all the, whether it be portable equipment, medical equipment, et cetera, et cetera. Right.
You're good.
Okay.
Rescue Randy.
On bottom page 14, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
And 63,100, 63,104, that 10.5 didn't carry over to the second column. I don't know if that changed the total. I haven't added it up to see if that, it should be the same, but it didn't carry over
No. Say that again, under which one?
there. 63,100-04,
Page
on
15.
boxes.
Oh, okay,
It didn't carry over to the second column, I don't know.
right, but if you look, there's 250 on the
Yeah.
bottom, so should be right.
Didn't want to have a blank there.
Yeah, the totals ended up right,
Yeah.
but there's a little obvious blank spot there.
Just had it done in white letters.
Whited it out.
Fix that.
Okay.
Nobody more coming after politics, plowing his opinion.
It's painted. It's been
It's painted.
for a
It's been
month.
painted.
Has it?
Where you been? Been painted.
Okay. Did work. Did we
We
get
gotta get rid of this
I
building.
missed it with something new, new station two. Where's that at?
So that would be under building construction, which is on page.
Yeah, page me out, show me where that is. That certainly needs discussion.
Page with
So, all right, so that'd be page 14 under 62,000.
that. Building construction design and during construction station 2.
Okay, so that'd be the engineering portion of new construction.
I put a star there because what I anticipate is once we figure out if we do decide to build something, that we would loan lease purchase, whatever, how it's defined, the amount
The cost of the construction of
of
the
the construction
facility.
facility and some of the stuff that goes into the facility.
But for initial design and
And
engineering,
engineering,
240.
well, 200,
200,000.
the 40 is,
200,000.
40 is to add on to this over here
I beg your pardon.
for the, because if we take down the other building, that we're gonna have to have somewhere to put the van.
For now.
Over here,
Yeah,
add on to this
Yeah,
building,
that's how it's building.
add on to this building,
Yeah.
the one we're sitting in,
Mhm.
to add a parking garage,
small garage.
like a two-bay garage or something.
I think we built it wide enough to put a 16-foot door in front, put the van on that side, and got a door right there where all these props and extra chairs can be in there. We can just roll them right into the training room instead of cluttering up the training
So
room.
just an extension of this.
This width and about 22 foot that way. And give us room to park the van inside, all the training props, all the extra chairs, tables, and clean this room up some.
Divided, keep this divided.
Yeah, it's just, we just have a door right there by where that rack's
We
at.
would be heating and cooling it.
Yeah. I think the van doesn't have any water in it, so I won't have. But we've got a training pump on the way from Darley, free of charge, that's gonna be on a rack, and we gotta put it somewhere. We've got a hydrant we're working on getting a cutaway done of it, that's a vertical stand-up. We've got
So for
rescue Randy,
props and the
that kind of
frame
stuff. All these extra chairs are just sitting in the way, and we're not using them. They give us a place to stick them in there behind that van, and out of the way, if we need it, we just roll right through the door. But that building won't be heated and cooled, it'll basically be a sheet metal shell.
just kind of extension of this.
Just, I mean, it doesn't even have to have a liner panel, just a metal building with a roof on it and a door in it, a couple of lights.
All that shed.
Basically, yes, give us a place, well, I mean, we can park the mower in, get it out of the front here, and a little bit of room, because that back building is falling apart.
The new building you're talking about. I assume that you guys are serious about that. I know last year or year before you talked to me about it. And it would be something similar to Station 3. And would be located somewhere up in this vicinity.
We already
Similar.
have the property.
And,
We just haven't done anything with it.
Similar to Station 3 with some things we've learned over time. And one
Change
bay,
it.
one bay larger instead of 3 bays, one bay larger, 4 bays wide.
And, with that being in the budget, we need you want the engineering to start sometime next year.
That's,
I think we're, in my opinion, for what it's worth, is I think we're further out than that, because I think we're more than a year of this project here, plus whatever's gonna need to happen, once the highway goes through, dealing with those types of adjustments, that this is gonna need to be the priority of,
We shouldn't have anything to have to do here.
but I think part of what,
Concrete work is funded the next fiscal year.
it's already, okay.
This is to get Station 2 done, so when this highway gets done, we can focus on this one, and we don't have to worry about either one of those stations. Those two, the concrete will be done, that station will be done, and we can focus on this piece when the highway's done, the dirt work's done, and see what we got to work with.
so the future plans are and have always been at some point in the future, and I can't say whether it's a year, 2 years, or 5 years down the road, we're gonna expand to the point that we're gonna probably have shift work. Go from,
I would say it's gonna be a while before we can get to that point.
but if and when we get to that point, then we'll need to be able to have facilities for 3 shifts of people.
But we won't need it at 3 stations.
No.
That's correct.
But I see Station 2 being the main station because it's in the middle. They can go either direction quickly at that point. Because I'm personally, I'm out on doing the one guy at each station. I'm out on it. One guy driving on the road in a $700,000 ladder
That's
truck
just
by
not-
himself.
That's just not the way that,
No.
there's no safety built into that at all.
But
What,
we've talked about Station 2 for 12 years now, 10 years.
well, to do it, construction usually takes, 6 to 8 months to end it out, with everything it needs, might take a total of a year.
We just built 2 of them at work. And it's a process.
It's a process. You got a design process that usually takes 3 to 4 months, depending. And the design, once made, doesn't necessarily have to be done immediately. I mean, it's just.
And that's why I stuck that in there, was for the design and
The
engineering.
property doesn't change and you don't need to move to a different location. Pretty much everything's stationary with that, except maybe an upgrade in the modernization of equipment that comes along if you wait too long. So I don't see a particular problem with doing the engineering next year.
But until we figure out an engineering, we don't even have a ballpark dollar amount to even look at to try to figure out. Do we need to cut the drawing back? Do we need to figure out where to get
Well,
funding?
that's why you.
Until we get that part done,
That's why you have an engineer draw it up and estimate the cost.
that's why I stuck it in the budget for this year. So we can get
And,
moving. We've been talking about it for years and not moving forward.
Whether you plan on manning it during the day or not,
Not
manning of it is different. You could man it at night, type of thing.
I'm not concerned with that. We don't have a ballpark.
Manning
Manning
it
the
is
price
not
to even look
it's
at.
not a concern when you're building. That's a concern of operating.
I don't expect Manning to be in that station permanently for at least 5 years. But we've got to move forward. If we keep talking about those people over there, I had 3 of them ask me last week, what are you gonna do with that lot? Well, I don't know. We're planning on building the station.
Well, for right now, we're keeping it mowed but in this same, since this is a discussion, we do need to start thinking in that direction. And we can't do anything without engineering.
So the assuming that we get that in the budget and we're proceeding, I'll go ahead and after the budget becomes effective, and see about putting cost after some of this, start doing the estimate for the work.
You know, and again, you know, the chief is the one that is supposed to set the pace and have the vision for where this department's going. That's part of his duties, responsibilities, to have that vision for us, and I think that Chief Long has that. And he's looking down road, and as a board, we have the obligation to hash all these things out and decide where we're gonna go. So, you know, just like this concrete out here, it's been going on for a long time. Now it's got some momentum. Now it's moving, and which is a good thing. Feel like that in next year's budget, we've got the money. If we go ahead and approve this budget, if the board approves this budget, then during next fiscal year, we need to start engineering. We can make that decision later on down the road. Right now, we're talking about approving the budget. So that's my spirit about that. So this is the proposed budget.
Yeah, this is the proposed budget.
Moving. And
There will be, just for refresher on everybody, there will be, we can make changes to this ballparkish roundabout, other than within, at least within the, you know, capital fund, operating fund type of deal a little bit. But I have to advertise this out into the paper here in the next week for the budget hearing, which just will happen on the second Sunday of next month, along with then hopefully approving or adopting the budget at that time. So I will take any comment after this is, proposed budget is approved, and we'll consider whether we can make any changes to this. We can add or subtract or something of that sort. I will tell you, this budget is a lot tighter this year than most as far as certain areas. But otherwise, I mean, we have a lot of wiggle room to do things.
Should there be at least in the 2022, on the last, on page 16,
Very, very last page.
on the leases, we're gonna have an engine, at least an engine added, that will have a payment due. That's not on here.
That's because technically, say if we take delivery next in say June or July,
Mhm.
our first payment isn't until maybe that final calendar year.
Right, but that would be the 2022.
what is it?
So you think I probably should add that in there.
2020,
Yeah.
21, 22.
No, 21, 22, I could see it not hitting if we do it in July.
If we turn the truck in July, then it won't be until fiscal year.
2021, 2021, we will have a payment due on that.
Yeah.
So 2021 and the
So
2021 and the
basically
2022 fiscal years would have at least one additional lease payment.
So I can put the lease payment in there for this fiscal year, that's fine. We know what it is, so. Which won't hurt us.
And that'll be engine 2.
Yeah.
I got pictures of it the other day.
And then,
Do you think July or do you think June?
They're talking the end of May sometime for the mid-build, and it's gonna be a video mid-build, so, and usually 30-ish days after that. They just got the box on it, the pump module. It has no lights or anything other than what came on the cab. They still gotta pull all those wires, so they've still got probably 45, 50 days, I guess, unless they just throw a bunch of guys at it, which they could. I don't know what they got set
I
in
mean,
the shop to work
I'll
on.
add it, but
But it wouldn't necessarily need to be for this coming budget, it just needs to be on here as reflected for the following year
I got you.
and the year after.
Okay, I got you. Okay. That makes sense. All right, we'll put that in there. Because that is true.
What's the life expectancy of these vehicles?
10 years by NFPA standards, frontline, 10 years reserve.
10 years.
10 years frontline, 10 years reserve.
So you could keep them for 20.
Good, yes. That engine out there that we've got up for sale is a 99. The last one we sold was a 93. So in a couple more years, what's engine 2 now will be the next one up, and it's an 03. So
So we're depreciating that over 10 years,
Easily.
20 years.
but once we get engine 2 going, we won't sell another one for probably,
We don't put that many miles on them.
that's why we're hopefully getting more money out of them than trying to give them away now.
Just it's a sideline from my old effort. Does that engine have an hour meter on it?
Yep.
On the engine and the pump.
Not just on the engine.
Okay.
Any more comments about the proposed budget? I'd like to make a motion that we accept the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020, 2021 as presented with the corrections noted.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Lewis, aye.
Hazel,
Phelps, aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Moving on. Item 5, discussion and possible action regarding the approval of the 2013-2014 audit.
Oh, okay. Looking at it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Okay.
Everybody seen that audit? I had my marked up copy and I left it at home, but
I looked at it, but
I personally read it.
I wasn't here at the time, so it doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I read it from front to back, every
There's-
word of it, and I'll comment that basically it says everything's fine. That's
what I got out of it.
Yeah.
And that
It says there's no improprieties and nothing out of skew is from the data that we provided for them to audit, that we're in acceptance of all standards, so.
Personally, I didn't see
Is there any
worry.
other comments about that? You got any comments, Ed?
I would just say, I think, and this is something we've been working towards, and I think we're gonna, I think what fiscal year, when in last year's fiscal year, we started with the CPA and with Ed as the treasurer, and Ed has done a very good job of segregating duties, and we're gonna not see those types of comments.
Yeah, so let me give the board the overview of where we're at on the audits. I think that's appropriate. With this one right here, this fiscal year, the auditor has 2 more years. The next 2 will be 14-15 and 15-16. So he's getting those in chronological order, caught up in chronological order. He has all the boxes of all those 3 years, the ones that we just, this report, and the coming 2 years, he has the boxes for all those. And he'll keep those boxes and stuff until I'm ready to go down there and get them with the next audit, which will be 16-17.
Yeah.
And so after we get 2 more of these, then at that point, he'll be ready. He'll get all the information for 16-17. And we'll work it up to 17-18, 18-19, and then we're gonna get current with it. But they all have to be in order, and I want to compliment Ed for
his cost and the budget for those packages.
we're gonna double his salary this next year. Yeah, for all the work behind the scenes. he's
Yeah,
done.
we put money in or there's funding in the budget to get these audits caught up. They're basically about $3,000 a pop. So basically, we'll probably wind up paying for definitely, hopefully, these other 2 this fiscal year. And then by the time they start 16-17, there'll probably be At least get us up through the next, so,
You know, maybe we can get up the current state up there.
that's my
Well,
plan.
That's,
One way or the other,
That's
we were
definitely
gonna
my
get,
plan.
we were gonna get to at least getting done, hopefully by the end of calendar year, if not sooner, 18, 19. I would love to have, and but we also probably have to get 19 and 20 done, because technically fiscal year's ending soon. Technically, we have to have that done, but we can't get those until these, so. I mean, when I gave it to him, it was probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he got it done, so. The only thing that slows it down is he gets one done, I gotta pay him until he starts the next one, so.
well, considering when we started this process, we're about 8 behind, and we're not that far behind now. We're a lot better, so we're getting there. So I'd like to make a motion at this point to approve the 2013-2014 audit.
I'll second that.
Lewis, aye.
Phelps, aye.
Favor,
Thank you, gentlemen. Number 6, possible action regarding the approval of the cost of the pension physicals.
Pension physicals for the paid employees, we had to send them down to Oklahoma City to get through the physical down there at the doctor. It is $475 a person, plus $75 if they need additional x-rays. That includes one x-ray in the $475, if they need more than one. If they've had a knee surgery or a back injury or something, they have to do those, it's another $75 a piece. I think we only had one person that had to have extra x-rays, and I can't tell you how many they had because I don't have a packet back yet. But I know each physical was $475. So we sent 6 people down there.
Just for the 6, it would be 2,850, and how much was the next surgery?
75 apiece, and like I said, I can't tell you how many they did. I know they did a
Plenty of
knee.
money.
If around the 3, I think that's 3,000.
I know they did a knee, which they're probably gonna do a right leg front, maybe a back, I don't know. But
That's everybody?
everybody's been, but they were $475 apiece, and we sent 6 people down, and there was only one that I know of that had extra x-rays, that's because he had knee surgery. And they inspected everything that's been worked on, because they don't want
Who's that payable to?
to, we'll have to get that, it's the pension doctor now, I've got paperwork in the office, but I'll have to look and see. He's the only one that does the pension paperwork, or the pension physicals, he's been doing them 35 years. I know it's at Integris Hospital down there, North Campus.
Can you put that in when he gets it for you? Sure.
what's the PO on that?
See where I'm at on
Good, it's 2019 something.
here. Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the 6 pension physicals, not to exceed 3,000.
Second,
Favor, aye.
Phelps, aye.
Lewis, aye.
And I,
PO number
073.
073. Moving on. Got that, Chris? Number 7, discussion possible action regarding the sale of the 1999 Spartan Darley Cavs fire engine. Chief Long.
Got one bid, what we got on it?
One bid. And the minimum bid that you set, sir?
Minimum bid should have been 100,000. That's what was on the posting.
Sealed bid from Ketchum Volunteer Fire Department, sealed bid for this pumper stated. He bid $65,000. $65,000.
He said that's up to the board whether or not you want to accept that or send it back out.
I don't think we can accept it.
When you stated that it was a minimum.
But it also says on there, the board has the right to reject or accept any bids that is in the benefit of the fire department. I had it pulled up here. I think I closed it though.
Well, that's $65,000 on the table right there. What's the pleasure of the board?
Let's see.
What's your feelings? I like to hear everybody's feelings.
It says Limestone reserves the right to reject any or all bids or to waive technical or legal deficiencies and to accept any bid that it may deem in the best interest of the fire district.
This plan gives us authority to do whatever we want.
What, how was the price set originally?
I pulled 5 or 6 comparables, but it's hard to find a poly-body cast truck
That age.
that age. Most of them they're metal bodies, and they're either in good condition or they're wore out.
Okay. How old's the engine?
That's a 99.
Okay, so quite old. What did we pay for it originally?
I'm gonna say 3 something when we bought it. It was a demo when we bought it. But like I said, I saw prices anywhere from 50, 55 to 145 on the 99 model truck. It depends if it was a department like us that doesn't run a whole lot, or if it's the city of Dallas that owned it. If it's the city of Dallas that owned it, you probably don't want it because it's been well
It's wore
used.
out.
And that's the gap in the price range is how wore out is it? That truck has, that truck's got 40,000 miles on it.
39,
It's over 20 years old.
39,852.
It's got almost 2,100 hours on it, on the engine. But it's got a fresh rebuild on the pump too.
Yeah.
And the bid is from who?
Ketchum, Oklahoma.
City Fire Department.
They're a volunteer department, but it is a city run department.
Captain Boyle.
Yeah, just a comment. One nice thing about it is it is Oklahoma Fire Department, it is a volunteer fire department, and they're not buying it to make a profit on
They're not what?
They're not
Buying
buying
it
it
to
to make a
make
profit. They're
profit on
buying
it.
it. They want a CAPS engine, but they can't afford a new one. They bought two used engines lately, and he said that would be the newest one that they bought.
So
So
I'm inclined to accept based on the age and, number of hours in
Good. Got an opinion?
I mean,
this truck, unlike some of the others, the other one had a lot of equipment on it. This one won't have hardly any on it except some hand tools. All hose nozzles and all's coming off because we're reusing it. So it is basically a truck with a couple of axes and an old Halligan on it. So
I'm not really wishy-washy on it. I mean, I'm kind of in agreement, that, it's gonna help a Oklahoma Fire Department. I know a lot of these fire departments are not as fortunate as us to have the funding, especially city departments that are paying on sales tax, to purchase equipment. I mean,
Chris?
I would like to, I'm leaning towards, accepting the offer. I mean, I think it would be good, Oklahoma department. My only concern would be that if other departments knew that we would have taken less than our minimum bid, could we have got more than this?
That's the issue you faced with a sealed bid. And
If we put a minimum in there and if someone looked and said, well, I know we can't give 100, we couldn't give 75, but we can't do 100, so let's not bid.
so did the bid package that went out, it specified that it had to be 100?
the minimum bid was $100,000 on it, but it also stated about 4 or 5 lines below
It said
that.
that we could make.
We could accept or reject any and all bids. If we got
You see
one for
that?
99, we could reject it because it wasn't
And that's
$100,000.
the reason we got this bid.
And like I said, that they saw the bid when it went out. It's been all over Facebook because I know they commented on the pictures, so I know they saw it. But
We've got
and I
new,
will say that we've been through this road before with a few of the other trucks that we've had to lower the price, and then get way less than we
$65's not.
Yeah, we had to almost give away the last two.
And I just pulled up here and
The
just,
front mount and then that big ass ladder.
which justifies what we're doing. Now, again, we're not comparing apples to apples, but we're comparing red apples to green apples, I guess. A 2001 Spartan is for sale for $40,000.
Yeah, it was,
So,
I didn't find any poly body or any gas trucks.
Yeah.
So,
You said anywhere the lowest was 50.
I mean, you'll find some in there that are smooth wore out because they belong to Chicago or somebody that the wheels are falling off of them and they're trying to sell them.
this one's got 117,000 miles on it.
We've got 40.
So it justifies more than this, but it also,
And like I said, I found 6 or 7 comparables before I settled on that, and that was middle of the road.
This bid shows that they've done their homework. They've looked at that same information.
And like I said, I'm with Dawn, it's another fire department in Oklahoma that we know is gonna use the truck, they're not gonna buy it and resell it, which I have no problem with that, if somebody wants to do that, but this is a fire department that needs a truck. And wants cash, and that's one more department in Oklahoma on the cutting edge of technology instead of still being 50, 100 years behind. So, because right now there's only 3 in Oklahoma.
Great department.
Yes. So,
Sounds like a consensus to me. I make a motion that we award the bid on the 1999 Spartan poly body cabs fire engine to Ketchum Volunteer Fire Department for the official bid amount of $65,000.
That's the second.
Favor what?
Phelps, aye.
Lewis, I.
we'll get that truck stripped and make that other sketch in the morning.
We talked about, did I have a couple changes on the title on that one?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll look at it.
Just look at it and see.
Pull it up today.
I want to say it was,
I think I just gotta go down there and get something changed, I'm not sure, but
I might look at that today before I call them on.
Number 8, regarding the concrete work at Station 3, that'd be mine. At the last meeting, if everybody remembers right, the way it ended up was kind of a compromise. And I determined that if the Cook Concrete Company could do the same work as AP Concrete, I think it was AP Concrete, that for the same amount that he could have it. Well, he put in another bid on it that had an upcharge for that sealant, and he also added a rock clause. So basically, I would like to defer this bid right here and not even pursue it any further until Mr. Averill has had a chance to write the specs for this concrete out here on all this. And every bit of concrete that we bid from now on go off of that set of specs. And rebid this whenever those specs, when we have the spec for these, I think it was 6-inch that was stated in the preliminary.
6-inch reinforced.
6-inch reinforced. And when we have a set of specs for the concrete, we'll just, if 6 inches will hold it on this fire station, 6 inches will hold it over there. We don't need 8 inches. In my opinion.
Trucks.
Same trucks. So I pass on awarding this to anybody.
All right. What you're asking then, we're around by way, is we'll get a right spec for that concrete work over there.
No, sir, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
asking for the specs that we're gonna use here to use to rebid that over there, if and when we decide to do that. Do you have specifications for this?
I have specs for this concrete, but they're based on the drawings. If I was gonna give only good specs without drawings, then I would have to modify what I've written for here. Which I don't have any trouble with that. Okay, and I have the specs here for this. The written part of the specs, you've seen the drawings. The drawings say a lot about how you do things.
Right.
if you're gonna write it in a document only, without drawings,
Well,
then I've gotta add more stuff.
I accept the responsibility for this being a toss back and forth because I didn't go into it with a set of specs to bid it by. So that's what's put me in between two different contractors, two different times, and I'm not gonna pursue this any longer. We're gonna get the same spec that we do all concrete in the future. I like the word consistency, and that's how I'm gonna do that one.
No action.
No action necessary on that one.
Or do you want to, we need to withdraw the approval?
I'll make a motion then we withdraw the approval for station number 3's concrete work.
I'll second. Louis, aye.
Haverhill,
And I,
Phelps, aye.
I'll close that PO.
Moving on to open action items. Let me flip to that, please.
Should be page 3.
Page 3. Stipend, that's done.
Do we still need to, do we still keep that open on talking payroll about paying it out, or
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay.
Make sure we get that.
I need to talk to payroll on paying that out?
Okay.
No, we should have.
7K exempt employees.
Yeah, that is, we approved that at the last board meeting.
Okay.
I just need to, two things. One is just get it out to all employees, but probably bring up at next board meeting about changing annual versus hourly, paying hourly.
And if you can get a policy, you still have that Chris Moore, or I can get it to her if you want to send it to me, just so payroll is aware of the policy.
Yeah, we can, I'll give you a copy of it. I mean, really, it's not gonna affect them too much as far as.
But they're gonna have to start paying overtime rather than, see, the reporting right now does not, they don't pay overtime, they just
Right,
add it to, they're tracking it as comp time.
right, and that, like I said, we'll, talk
It
about
pretty
that
much should pay off of what I send in Monday. I send it in every Monday.
Right,
I have to figure out how many hours comp time and overtime and all that they've got put on a sheet.
Yeah.
I think they just pay for that.
But they build it in their system as well so they can report on it.
yeah,
But then they're not gonna do comp time anymore, so it's,
but we'll have to figure out a few things.
because I think they put everybody, because everyone's in there as exempt.
Well, there's another one they're gonna have to look at too. This is June 1st, we just start taking it.
We talked about that too.
Landscaping station 1 and 3.
I haven't started anything on that just yet, I knew that. Oh, I know what it was. You were gonna talk to, or, oh, good grief. Got it, it's subject work about smoothing out.
We were gonna go out there after the last board meeting and look at it.
Yeah,
I think she
something
got
happened.
tied up talking and we forgot all about looking at that
Oh,
out
you're
there.
not gonna get anything else out of him. He's been paid and you didn't sell him the little trucks.
There,
I'm sure he's not gonna come out of,
we've got, I can't confirm or deny yet, I haven't pulled the lids on it, but we got something going on. Every time it rains hard, those sprinklers kick on and run 3 or 4 times that day.
now we do need to call him for
And when
that.
when it's not raining, they might come on once every couple of days. We're not using that much water to fill that tank up.
No.
But when
think
it
it's-
rains heavy, those sprinklers just come on. In the rain out there, just spray it.
Is there some water source seeping into the system?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't, unless it's getting up to the top, but those are sealed lids and they're screwed shut, I checked.
Yeah.
So unless there's a crack in one of those tanks letting groundwater in it or something, there's water getting in there somehow. Because every time it downpours, you can look at, you can watch them on the camera, they're just out there just spraying.
Well,
If it
let's,
quits raining, they'll stop.
let's me and you talk tomorrow and one of us can call him and have him come check on that.
Okay, so we just need to move forward then with
landscaping, if we have to look at.
The last couple of monsoons have knocked it down pretty good.
Right. Basically getting somebody to come out
I
and
haven't
get a
talked
bid
to
on a sod.
I never give that another thought. I thought Robert and I were gonna walk out after that last
I think
meeting.
everybody got sidetracked last
Yeah,
week.
we got on the COVID thing and kind of got everybody.
Moving forward.
So if you wanna get a bid from the sod place down here, let me know.
Yeah, I
I've
will.
got a number for
Okay,
Here,
so we awarded a bid to somebody to start
Station 3.
Station 3.
Yeah, I just have to talk to them. I got on this other couple items here that I had to get done first.
Gotcha. Cell phone booster,
them. It's installed.
that's done.
Yeah,
It's installed, I'll give it
Does
that.
it work?
Not much better than it did before. We're still working on antenna
Let's get
placement outside.
$143 back then.
Well, the booster's working, I think we're at to move the antenna to the pole and up. So it's still not,
Hope they got it pointed in the right direction.
well, it's on its, we've tried from this direction to that direction and that doesn't work, so we're gonna put it on top of the tower with the other one, the pole out here. Cause the one on the training room is pointed directly that way. Well, the one that's in the living room is pointed directly that
We're
way.
gonna use a
So-
aerial ladder to do that, or we're gonna hire that out?
We're gonna use a ladder to do
There
it.
you go.
We got that under control.
Privacy fence at Station 3, Mr. Averill. Did you write specifications?
I have specs, actually, I'll give them to you, what I wrote.
Okay,
Uh,
well, then,
What, just so you've got a copy of it, what I need, is you guys, somebody was gonna get
we need to talk
a standard,
to send out for bidding in the paper and all that stuff, yeah. So we need to talk with Jesse on that topic.
It was around there. I wrote a spec for that, for the bid, but I can't send it out until we have a standard,
Template to put in the paper.
item to put in the paper to advertise.
Okay.
As soon as somebody's got that,
you know,
and we can do that, then I'll take this up.
that to Chief.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
should have been 4 copies to pass around.
I will,
So as soon as somebody was gonna do that last month,
well, you and I will get together and
all right.
we'll get with I will initially let him know, or ask him about it, see if he's already got a template. And then if he does, we'll get it to you and we can work on getting that taken care of.
The previous place I was, the purchasing agent just had a standard one to stick out there with a few words to stick in there. It said procure average and send it out to them.
Yeah.
As soon as that's done, I can take this around to some fence vendors and get some bids.
Right. Purchase and install drainage pipe at Station 3, close that one.
And pay for it.
Okay, concrete work at Station 3, close that one. Or ongoing, I should say.
Actually, that one would be, we'll close it,
Okay,
because we just,
All the rescues are gone.
oh, Ford rescues are gone.
John's ones are still in the works.
what day did they actually transfer? Did they ever at the meeting, or?
No, they weren't at the meeting. They came,
Monday or Tuesday afterwards?
it was Tuesday because I worked that Monday, so they came Tuesday afternoon, picked them up. Okay. After the board meeting.
Boat accessories,
Done, they're all here.
high drive bins,
Done and functional.
Page 4.
Challenge points done?
No, they're still ordered. They're ordered, they're just not here.
sheet rock at Station 2,
Done, we're working on putting the sink and stuff back
is it
in.
painted?
Yeah, they painted everything. It's done. We gotta put the ice machine back and put the drain on the
Get a
sink.
hot water tank?
We have not done the hot water tank portion of it yet, but as we were trying to figure out if it was gonna be more cost effective to put a
On
gas-
demand?
Gas tankless up there since we have gas at that station.
I remember that conversation.
But we haven't moved forward on that. We're just trying to get everything back, because right now it's taking up a truck parking place with the parts that we've got drug out of the office and everything. The workout room's back in order.
So sheetrock repair is done.
The sheet rock repair is finished. You can close that one. Everything else is on this. It's just moving some stuff.
Hold on just one second. I got caught up here. We skipped over.
Okay, tell me
The
what.
boat accessories, is that done?
Okay.
And a new high drive's done.
I can talk quicker than you can write.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm back up to speed.
Engineering work related to drainage.
Purchase of challenge coins?
Yes.
I missed that. You got that?
Order.
They're on order.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I thought they didn't take this to the board, but you're like,
I just, for some reason,
Okay.
my mind was doing something else.
Second item on page 4, engineering work related to concrete station 1.
All right, I have the specs done, with the exception of the contract number. And I'm waiting on a generic advertising document to send out to the papers. I do have a tentative list of bidders for that available. So I've got the specs, I got the drawings, all I need to do is advertise.
Great. That is great.
So what number should I be using for that, for a contract number?
What I would do is what we've been,
Or a purchase order number is the same
well, it
thing.
won't be we won't get a purchase order number until we actually approve the actual contract, but here's what, let me go back to the website here a second. Let me see what we were doing in the past.
Well, I can give.
It was basically a bid number.
it's got,
Okay, a bid number.
I think we were, I want to say the last one we used was that engine we just sold, and I think it was a 2020-03.
Yeah, so, if you want to make yours,
Let me make sure, but I'm pretty sure it was
I
2020.
think you're right.
Oh, it is, right here on this paper, 2020-03.
So,
It's 2024.
make the concrete work 04.
2004,
2020-04.
and the fence
Will be 05.
2005.
Yeah. Because once we do advertise it, there's this place on the website to put that, information on there.
All right, I just got to have a number for tracking purposes.
Right. So basically, we were doing it by bid number, basically, how we
Yeah.
were doing in the past.
Okay.
So,
All right, so as soon as I get that, then
Okay.
incidentally, in case you're interested, which I'm sure you have plenty of time to read, there's copies of the specs I'm using. For the,
take one down, pass it
This
around.
is the concrete work.
that's the concrete work, the type of drawings, the one for section 3 would have to be a little bit longer with no drawings. Because I'd have to put what's on the drawings in the written part, because I'm not gonna make drawings.
All right.
I got some crayons, I can make you a drawing. May not be the drawing you want,
Okay.
but I can make you a drawing.
Purchase of wireless access point for station 1.
Yeah, I get it.
It's here, it's just not installed.
I keep asking Blake, what's up, Blake?
I saw him today, he was moving furniture, so I don't know what he came to.
Oh, what about it?
Purchase of Microsoft
Yeah, I'm a
Office.
little behind on my project list here,
Yeah, sure.
but I had a budget to get done.
I'll give you that.
Arm locks.
They are here and you closed that, finally.
What is an arm lock?
That's those inflatable water rescue that you can put
Yes.
over. We ordered one for car 3 and car 4,
Right.
since they're both Swiftwater guys.
Right.
Going straight to the scene with those.
Yeah, okay.
They're finally here.
Here's
And
with the right.
Well, you already get caught in it?
Swift driver.
Yeah, Swiftwater driver,
Purchase of promotional items.
closed.
Yeah.
It's all,
Well, actually, you thought of something else yesterday.
it's call brass and we don't supply the call brass, so I already
Okay.
ordered them on my own.
Okay.
I forgot to order my 5 bugles for my white shirt. So I ordered them the other night. You didn't even notice I had on 3, did you? Up here for the funeral.
No, really, just,
I had on 3 bugles.
I
Nobody
noticed
noticed.
you had a white shirt on. That was pretty good. Bunker gear.
It's in and, handed out and closed and clipped.
Close that category.
That's both welding and,
I'm still kind of waiting on all the rest of the building from Lion, it's Lion, right?
Yes.
Or Lion and Casco.
Purchase of active 911 service to replace.
While Lincoln
Oh, and boots are also part of
That's
this.
closed all year. They said it's all in.
All boots are done too?
All the well numbers
Yeah,
are.
everything's here, we just haven't totally paid for everything, but it's all here.
Active 911.
So
Other working.
we're another project, we're in work in progress on the Spillman side. They told us at mid-June to be able to get the module that has to be upgraded. I did send out a couple emails that Spillman is being upgraded. The actual Spillman application itself is being upgraded this next week. But mid-June, they're supposed to have this other rip run model installed and working so that we can actually get this working. So maybe July.
Why was it working for other departments?
It's not.
It's the Spillman system that's over here is not communicating with Motorola Solutions to get the right information to active 911.
Yeah.
Ours is working. It's on the old rip run on the
We're
old
on a
system.
roll,
This is a newer system that needs the upgraded rip run in it, and
Yeah,
it didn't. They put the old rip run because the new one wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
So rather than waste time fixing the old one, they're just gonna finish the new one and put it in. But we haven't done anything with the active 911. They extended our trial period again, and they're gonna do it one more time.
Yeah.
So we get our free trial of it to make sure we like it before we pay for it. We've paid for nothing so far.
But it's been ongoing since February.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's been emails slung back and forth a dozen times between me, Ed, and Vicky, and Motorola, and
Yeah.
active
so
911.
So you're working on it.
we're working on it, we're keep twisting.
And
it
this
around.
will be the thing that gets rid of the
Six, 17 pages ever called.
Yes.
You'll get one.
Okay.
Legal
And
action,
click on it and it takes you to the address.
Correct.
ongoing legal action. Any updates?
Yes. Give me a second, I'm looking on my calendar here.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, tentative court date is June the 8th, Monday, June the 8th at 1:30 in the afternoon. I did talk to Jesse. Jesse was sending out a letter with the information. We determined that, we were missing basically about 4 months in different fiscal years, 2 different fiscal years of data. So we're gonna see what happens at that meeting, that court date, and we'll decide from there, I guess. I don't know if the board wants to, after this court date, the board wants me to pursue it anymore, or the Lord Jesse to pursue it anymore, or we just, but I kind of need an answer, because, that way we can tell the judge, okay, well,
Okay. So, and that subject needs to be pursued. Obviously, it's not on the agenda for today, but if we have to call a special meeting, and what's behind this is I was just informed that Chris may not be able to be here at the next meeting.
I should be able to. That
You think
I
so?
just verified it should be okay.
Okay.
So we will.
So, on the next agenda, we'll address the fifth board member and all notes or side notes that branch out from that subject. Is that
Yeah, kind of need to do that.
all right? We'll make a point of that. But there is a court date set.
And what Ed's needing now is for us to say, do we want the court to pursue this? If they show up and say,
we don't have it.
we don't have it, we don't know where it is, whatever.
Do you want me to pursue it any further, or do you want me to just leave it what we got?
Well, the answer with that is very simple. Can we process the audits in question without that information?
Yes.
And
I talked to Mr. Bledsoe, a few days after he, or a day or after so after he emailed me about the audit that was coming to us. He said he can work around those things.
But it would just, our
It
audit
basically-
would not include that information.
Right.
It would
May
be
not,
a
Because they
partial,
can only audit what you take to them.
yeah, it would be an 8-month audit for those years.
Well, no, it's 1 fiscal year, there's 2 months missing in one
Oh, okay.
fiscal year, 2 months missing from another fiscal year.
All right, got you, okay.
So it's not, it's
Not
four
four.
total months packets,
Okay.
4 months packets, which is basically, when I'm saying packets, I'm saying just the receipts, just the statements,
Are those 2 months in each year, are they back to back or?
No, they're not. They're kind of
out?
scattered out a little bit, so, or they may be back to back on one of them. I'm not exactly sure. I have to look at my notes. But, yes, we could still continue with getting our audits done.
My personal belief is the responsibility to,
Now, if we can still get the audits done, and if we still get the information, we just give that to him, and he updates the audits also. Just kind of,
I think we ought to at least,
Do our due diligence and pursue that to,
a reasonable end.
to
and that's where
some
I'm asking,
reasonable
what's the
conclusion
reason?
that we can get to.
So far, the court has not tried to enforce anything. I think there ought to be at least the court attempt to enforce delivery of that information.
And I think that was our original intent, is to pursue it as far as the court system would allow.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you want to vote, but I think the consensus is it's for you
We
to
don't
go
need,
forward.
we don't need to vote, we just need to keep going.
That's right.
I think it keeps going.
That's-
Then I'll let Chrissy know
We
that.
gotta- Whatever the judge says, we'll have to act upon it at that time.
I'm just making sure
Can-
my marching orders are clear.
Okay. Replacement PC workstation at Station 3.
Yeah. It's on the list of things for me to do.
So Ed, ongoing?
Sorry.
No, just, you're a busy man.
Training room floor,
Main, page 5, top, training room floor.
it's not here yet, as you can see.
Not here yet.
It's done. They were supposed to be down here and installed it when all this COVID started. They're in Jersey. Didn't really want them here. Didn't want them bringing it down here, but
They're in New Jersey?
The company's from New
the
Jersey.
company's from New Jersey and they send their own installers to install it. So I sent the guy an email Thursday or Friday asking, when can we get this done now that this is starting to let up and everybody can move freely about the country almost? And I haven't heard a word yet, but
I know it's a moot point now, but how come we bought something we couldn't buy local?
because there's very few vendors that have that flooring, that have anything close to that flooring. I mean, you can go down here and get a rubber mat from Sam's and put in here, but
It's guaranteed.
We couldn't find somebody who would buy their stuff and install it.
they won't, the only way they'll warranty this floor is if their people put it in. And that's typical. I mean, I wouldn't sell something
If
less
they're
than
willing to
this.
come down and do it here, I think it would behoove us to test their people before they come into the building,
Oh, yeah.
just so they don't contaminate the building.
And like I said, they're gonna be in here, we've got disinfectant spray that we're using, it's the same one all fire departments are using, out of a spray gun with an SCBA, we decon the station every morning. So that, there again, that would be one of those, we'll come in and spray this before they start, we'll spray it when they leave.
Yeah, and all the,
Everything in here will be out of this room,
Yeah.
except for those cabinets in that corner. Because they're gonna lay it right up to that, I'm not gonna pull those cabinets off the wall, haven't put it under, but all of those. have to be-
Maybe you don't have that UV light.
This disinfectant kills it on contact.
Yeah.
It's hypochlorous acid. And I mean, I think there's 14 gallons of it in there, and we use about that much in a paint cup every day. That's it.
Okay.
So we've got plenty of it to spray and take temperatures. We're still checking temperatures every day of every employee when they come in and when they leave, to make sure that we don't have somebody here that's got it or is spreading it.
audit's done. District bylaws. Ongoing.
I'm waiting for something back from the legal department.
Well, he's
And I
actually,
sent
it's
you a
in,
copy.
it's in the bucket, it's in their bucket. I gotta just poke Jesse on that one.
All right.
Any updates on the Highway 20 job?
No, I'll have to
What's that? Exit.
call them again. They're just working on right of ways, but, I think the state budget may be slowing that job down a little bit.
I heard they pulled some money from highways.
Yeah, so it may slow down, but I'll try to get hold of the guy over the next month and see if they're actually doing anything.
Just for my own curiosity, if you get a hold of somebody over there that happens to be in the know, see what their thoughts are on us, if we should happen to move this at some point, being able to go out on that on-ramp, having an entrance out there. I know they're gonna let us go out on the highway, but see if they would let us put a drive out onto that on-ramp that's going up to the highway.
But it looks like there's still a piece of property that's owned between us and the highway.
Yeah, there's 43,000 square feet.
So we don't, and that's owned by an individual, not the state.
I think the state bought all of it.
There's a
But
piece
this was
of,
one
I'm
piece
working to try to get that granted to us
but,
at some point.
but
Yeah,
there's,
that's
it's a
that's
little-
my thought is if we end up with that piece, if we could put a station there and go out on that service road, because I know they're not gonna let us go out.
look out on, I don't know if it's the assessor or whatever. Just recently, I was out there and there was still a piece that was not, that it showed DOT on some of it, but there was a piece right behind us that's still owned by the guy.
Should be a triangle shaped piece that's right across our back fence and where the service road comes up and the highway comes up. I've got it on the wall.
But it was still under the person's name.
But I know they're not gonna put a stoplight out here for us to get out on the highway, but it'd be nice to know if they're not gonna let us go out that way, there's no sense in pointing it that way. So,
Replacement engine too.
I got pictures of it the other day, the boxes on it, the pumps in it, they're working on doors and lights and lighting tigers and bears on mine. Like I said, we're looking at we're in the middle of May, so I would expect them to do it in the next couple of weeks in mid-build, which we're doing by video because we're trying to keep people out of their shop.
Oklahoma firefighters pension. Goes into effect June 1. You can close that one.
Yes.
It sure took a long time.
Yep, the only thing we've got
Telling me.
left is, I've got 4 people and waiting on a few little things on their physicals for the pays. We're doing the physical agility test for all 6 of them this coming Friday. As soon as I get those done and notarized and send those in, that's done, and when we get those few little things that they had to go to their own personal doctor for to send to that doctor, we'll be done. All the applications are already done for the volunteers that are going in.
Everybody wanted to be on
Didn't ask.
it? Oh, okay.
If they could get in, as we talked about going down there, a lot of younger people in the fire service don't understand it. 5, 10 years down the road, they're gonna go, man, I'm glad those guys were looking out for me. Because we get a lot of guys that come in, they're in the pension at work, have absolutely no idea what it's even about, what it's even for. Because they're 19, 20, 21 years old, they're not thinking about retirement. So, but anybody that was under the age of 45, we went ahead and put on the list because we've got, I think there was 7 paid and 10 volunteers. There were 17 people total. So, but that's complete other than those couple of items for their physicals and their actual physical test, which is Friday.
Updating employee policy.
Yeah,
Ongoing.
those are ongoing. And it's actually just figure out which ones we're gonna start next.
Container painting.
It's painted.
Close
that thing.
Good.
Good, good.
I think it actually was done before this.
Well, it says January 2012, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's just when the paint was purchased.
Take
Yeah,
that one off.
it's done.
Equipment report.
As far as I know, we have absolutely nothing. The only issues we've had is a compressor controller in engine 3, and Eric's been working with, Troy at Darley. They think it's either a switch, one of the pressure switches, or the actual controller itself. Either way, they're gonna warranty it. We just gotta figure out which piece it is. Sometimes the compressor kicks on, sometimes it doesn't. It still flows water, still puts out fire.
Which piece of, which
Engine
is
3, the new engine down there. Yes, sir.
I think Eric's already aware, I think, actually need to put alert in there, but you don't mind it, but the hydraulics
On engine,
line,
on rescue 2,
rescue 2 is leaking.
they've been tightened up
There's still puddle in there.
and they cleaned up.
Okay.
It's been tightened up, it's not leaking.
Okay.
I don't know how, I'm the one that tightened those, I know they got tightened,
Okay.
so I don't know if they got loosened and twisted when we were mounting the wire, the cables in the back and not get tightened back up, but
Alright.
yeah, I slipped and busted my knuckle twice tightening them, I know they got tightened, but
Okay.
they must have got loose. It just, the oil hadn't been cleaned up yet, but he tightened.
So I missed throw some oil to dry out and it's up.
Yeah, I can do that, pull the tray out after it soaks it up, rinse it out.
Business not known at time of posting.
Yeah. Just one. Need to move some more funds from the checking account to the payroll account. Just something like that.
How much?
Like to move 100,000 over to the payroll.
And how far will that get you
That should hopefully get me,
through the fiscal year,
well, hopefully at the end of the calendar year or close to.
calendar year?
Of course, you
I'll make a motion to move 100,000 from operating to payroll.
Second,
Remember live?
Phelps, aye.
Lewis, aye.
And I have nothing else. I think so.
Well, I got one business, not knowing, I guess, probably announcement. Chris's position comes up for reelection. And so, I already mentioned to him, but I'll just go ahead and mention everybody, he needs to, that one expires at the end of this year, so sign-up dates are July 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's a small window, but please make a note of that, Chris. Everything else on the election board is moving along normal. Anytime you guys got any questions about that, or what your status is, or how many years you got left, let me know. I keep record of all that. I'm in good stead with her down there. We do everything the way that she wants it done. That way there's no questions. It's all done legally up front and transparent. Any other announcements?
Who was this from?
We ran a grill on fire under the eave of a house in Eastwood Lake. And a couple days later, we ran it one evening, and a couple days later, they showed up with some cookies and that card and a donation.
$100
There's a $100 donation there. They were told they didn't have to, and they said they know it, and gave them the card and said, here.
You got cookies in the car.
Cookies on a card and a $100 bill. So I gave it to Ed. There it is going in the check.
Oh, I saw it.
And Ed gives it to me and I put it in the bank.
As far as announcements, I think we discussed it a little bit earlier, we're starting training back up. The EMR class is coming back together now. After the COVID thing, they're still gonna social distance a little bit, but it is starting back up, so hopefully we can figure out when we can get a burn date from OSU and get a firefighter 1 class started and get these guys through it. We've got 4 paid and
Get a burn
probably
date.
5 or 6.
Get a burn date and then build the class
Class
backwards from there.
backwards from that.
Doug, when did you have EMR refresher scheduled?
Yeah, it was supposed to be in May sometime.
Yeah.
I'll have to check my CAN number on it. I'll send an email later.
Any other announcements? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Lewis, aye.
Aye, Phelps, aye.
Remember live.
We stand adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.
This one was called, thank you.
Yeah, you
It is that,
good with me to get over.
it is that triangle property that is still listed as property of that,
You never contacted me about it.
and that's as of
I bet he'd be willing to get rid of it.